Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and this week's review where I'm looking at this. The JPX 900 fairway wood from Mizuno from 2017, specifically the 3-wood. Now, there's a reason I'm looking at this club. You see, big sort of club that's come out this year is a TaylorMade Stealth 2 Plus fairway wood, which has a removable weight at the bottom where you can move the weight to the front, obviously for more low spin, faster ball speeds, or move the weight further to the back to get higher launch, more MOI, etc. And I have one issue with it, and the main issue is the price. It's just under £380 here in the UK, brand new, and then over in America it's just under $450. Now that is a huge amount of money to be spending on a fairway wood in my mind, with the idea that you can still pick up some drivers for that price. Cobra brand new isn't far off that, the Aerojet this year. So it just makes me think, is there better options out there? Maybe it won't be as good as a TaylorMade Stealth 2 Plus, because let's be honest, it's going to be an amazing club, but where the difference isn't going to be massive, especially for your average golfer out there, and you can save yourself a ton of money. And that's why I picked this up, the JPX 900, because in the second-hand market, it's under £100, $100 as well, actually. And it could be a great option for you because there it has it. Right there is that sliding weight with the idea. Further forward, low spin. Further back, more MOI. So could this be the club for someone who wants that adjustability but doesn't want to pay through the roof for it? You could get this for say £70 over in the UK, and you nearly got, you still got £300 left. Go get yourself a putter and another driver. There's so many options for that, just to save yourself some money. So that's why I picked it up. Now, as usual, we'll have a closer look at the club. Then I will talk through all the technology in it, get it down the driving range, throw some figures at you, and then we'll come back here for the ACS golf scale. And we will go through that, and I will also talk about the weight and if it does actually affect it, because I did move it about, don't you worry. I tested it at the front and the back, so I'll discuss my findings on that as well for you guys. Okay, first thing, let's have a closer look at this club. So there you go, a closer look at a club. I really do like the look of this. I love the blue when Mizuno did it on their clubs. I know they've done it more on their recent stuff as all limited editions, but I loved it when it was a stock. I really do. Some people might not agree with me, but I do also. I like the little feature there. You can see the black actually comes off over the top of the club, which I think is quite good because it stops sort of sky marks on that blue there, which, if you're a high handicap golfer or starting off, or even low handicap. I mean, I play off 12 at the moment, and believe me, every now and again you might not quite get it right and get that sky mark still. So, really do enjoy that. I really do like the bottom as well. Now, let's go straight into the technology about this club. So, with this fairway wood, the idea to create low spin or increase spin, what they've done is they have this fast track technology. They have it sort of in their driver as well, the 900, which was just mental with how much you could change and adjust on the bottom of it. It was just crazy. Might get my hands on one of them in the future, but I wouldn't know where to start to check the adjustability of that. But anyway, you had a 15-gram weight here, a sliding weight, which you can move to the front, so low spin, move to the middle, sort of neutral, and then back for sort of higher spin. And the idea is by moving that sweet spot by full minute, so by doing that, by moving it back and forth, the sweet spot actually changes by full millimeter and adjusts the club's center of gravity by 2.3 millimeters, which Mizuno says is significant. Mizuno was saying at the time that by moving this way from there to there, you'd actually change the spin rate by 450 RPM, which is quite an amount, and really is a large variance really for your type of player, especially when it comes down to a fairway wood. So the idea obviously is you have the weight at the back, you have more MOI, and the idea is obviously to get the ball in the air and you have that higher sweet spot. Obviously, if you move it forward, it's lower spin. You move forward the CG, so center of gravity, and therefore, like I said, you have low spin, but also that sort of MOI will still be good, but it won't be as much as if it's at the back. Now moving on, just to say, this JPX 900 isn't a game improving fairway wood, so it is not your sort of peeing out there or your big tailor-made stealth, Max, etc. It is one, not tailor-made stealth. The tailor-made stealth Max? I'm thinking of the Sim Max there, not tailor-made stealth Max. But it's not like the Sim Max, that sort of big chunky sort of fairway wood for game improvement. It's a compact side. It's only 167cc, which at the time was a little bit larger than the M1 and even the Callaway XR's 16 Pro. So even though when you look at JPX is normally sort of, let's say, Mizuno's sort of more forgiving range over the years. This wasn't it. Really, this is not a game improvement fairway. This is very much a, here it is. Work with it. Let's get a low spin for the sort of better players. And the fact that it's just slightly larger than the XR 16 Pro at the time says everything. But what they've done as well is to keep the center of gravity as low as possible. Mizuno's giving the JPX 900 a waffle crown. The underside of the crown actually looks like a waffle. So underside here, with thickness varying from 0.55 to 0.35 millimeters. The weight saved there is to distribute lower in the club head. There you go. It's obviously to increase a bit of that forgiveness there. You also have Mizuno's distinctive shockwave sole. They kept that through only until I think this year, where they've now got a new system at the bottom. So the shockwave sole has actually been kept around for a while. It's designed to allow the face to flex more at impact and maintain a higher COR, especially on a low impact to promote faster ball speeds. But in the case of the JPX 900, it's also designed to keep the spin down. So the 900's shockwave is very different from shockwave sole and Mizuno's ultra-forgiving JPX EZ fairway wood. So you see they do have that forgiving fairway wood in that JPX lineup. This wasn't it. Where the EZ shockwave sole was ultra thin and light, allowing Mizuno to move much weight to the back, obviously. But the 900 shockwave sole is much thicker, providing more mass towards the forward of the club. Obviously, more mass at the front tends to mean lower spin. With any sort of driver, I mean, if you see any sort of thing, like I've got a Callaway Great Big Bertha, what's it called? Callaway Great Big Bertha Sub-Zero. There you go. We have the big weight at the front with the idea for low spin. So there you go. Now, one thing they've also done here is that they've had a quick switch adapter for the JPX 900 line. There you go. There it is. But now you can change the loft up by 2 degrees, down by 2 degrees. So I can go from here, from 15 all the way up to 17, or I can go 15 down to 13, which is quite nice. If you really want that low stinger, you can get it down to 13. And you can also change the lie as well. So the lie can go up by 1 or down as well. So you can have the club face more open or have the club face down. So there you go. And the idea, it's very, let's be honest, it's very standard when it comes down to majority of woods. And, drivers nowadays, they all have that sort of adjustability in there. And then finally, going on to sort of one of the pièces de résistance about this club is the stock shafts. So they had here, you had the made in Japan. I'm never going to pronounce this right. I always, whenever I do a lot of Japan clubs, obviously Mizuno, all of them sort of thing. A lot of them are out there, Mizuno, Titleist, etc. And I'm never going to get the name of shafts right. Anyway, I'm going to try it. The Chikura Speed Evolution 2. And this was a great shaft. I had in their drivers as well. Really nice, very premium, just a lovely shaft. And one thing I'll also add with the JPX as well is you did have another weight at the back there as well, obviously just to help that little bit of MOI, which obviously you could take that out if you wanted to remove that weight, so even more weight. The weight was really at the front and none was at the back, and you could obviously change to a light one if you wanted to, but they did have that option there. So unlike obviously the new Stealth doesn't have a weight back there unless you move the whole weight there. It does give you a little bit more of an option as well. So there you go. That's all the technology in this club. As mentioned, loads of technology in there, which I would expect from obviously Mizuno. Now, let's get down to the range. I'll throw some figures at you, and then we'll get back here for the ACS Golf Scale. Okay.
So here I am actually down with the course with the club, actually. Just one shot for you there. I actually enjoy this club so much I actually took it out for a round. Now, going into the figures, that just to say the first 4 shots, including this one, is with the weight at the back, and then the next 4 shots is actually with the weight in the front. Now, putting all of the figures together, on average I was getting 189 yards a carry, total distance of 213 yards, ball speed an impressive 143 miles an hour, launch angle 9, which is a bit lower than I want, and height 54. Really, for a 3-wood for me, if it's really impressive distance, I want that 230 mark, or getting up to there anyway, total yards. But have to remember that this is actually a regular shaft, not a stiff, so I really felt that I couldn't really go for it as I would normally with a stiff. And also I wasn't getting the launch angle that I would want, so I don't feel I was getting maximum distance. Getting great ball speed, 143 miles per hour is really up there for ball speed. I feel like I'd have to really just sort of tweak this a little bit to get the distance that I wanted. And one thing I did notice is when the weight was at the front, ball speed was up. I got the highest ball speed, 150 miles per hour. Distance was up. I got 230 yards what I wanted. Got quite a few ones over the 220 yard total distance as well. On average, when the weight was at the front, I actually got 217, which was actually more than when the weight was at the back, which was only 209.
So there you go. I was quite impressed with it, to be fair, distance wise. I mean, it wasn't the furthest I've ever done. Really, furthest I've ever done was more right sort of average at 230 mark, but the total distance yards wise. But one or two near got there, and ball speed was very impressive. I mean, on average, ball speed was 143 miles per hour. Cannot say anything against that. It's just down to my attack angle and closing the club face. I don't get that much launch with it, and this being specifically a club that is more sort of for that low spinner player, it's not really one that's going to help you launch the ball in the air. So I feel like in the right hands, you could get some decent numbers. I don't think you get your modern sort of newer tailor-made numbers, or maybe even the tailor-made at the time, because their fairways are absolute rockets, but I still think decent. So with that in mind, let's jump straight into the ACS Golf Scale. So starting off with distance first, I've gone for 4 out of 5 because I just think in the right hands, this is a low spinning beast, really. In the right hands, you can really get good distance. As I mentioned, ball speed was up there. I mean, on my best hit, 230 yards on a total carry. No, not sorry, total carry. 230 yards total distance. 150 miles per hour ball speed. I'm also using a regular shaft here, not stiff like I'd normally use. So maybe I get a little bit more control with that. So I just think the potential there is a lot of potential basically for distance. So I don't think it's the longest. I don't, Mizuno never really were. Maybe this year they sort of got closer to it because they made a tech difference. But, Mizuno were never really the longest woods, and, they haven't been over the past few years. So I wasn't expecting it to go and beat a TaylorMade. I wasn't expecting to go and beat like sort of, your Strixons, which, really rockets at the moment. But I was really impressed with it. So 4 out of 5, I think it's got some very good distance for what it is. So 4 out of 5 for that. Would not complain. I mean, I know on average it's 213, but that was more down to just the regular shaft and me just not finding finding where I wanted to find it all the time. I got 224 total there. I got 230, 220, another 224. Quite a few 224s at the end actually there. So we're definitely close to that 230, to be fair. So yeah, so happy with that. Now on to feel. As they say, nothing feels like a Mizuno. If you ever played Mizuno irons, you know what they're on about. But if you never tried Mizuno fairways or drivers, they actually have a great feel to them as well. I'm a massive fan of Mizuno woods. They feel great, and there's no exception to this. It feels really nice. So I've given it a 4 out of 5. There was a few hits where I hit it at the top of the club, and I knew exactly where I hit it, and the ball still came out quite nicely, but I knew where I hit it. And that's one thing that I love about these things. It just feels nice, I don't want to say soft because you don't want your fairway woods to feel soft, but just felt like consistent, just felt really nice. It was a joy to hit. I knew I was hitting it on the face. So I knew exactly what to see when I looked up after I hit the ball, but I just very much enjoyed hitting it. It's a very nice feeling club, not dull or anything like that. Just very nice. So 4 out of 5, very happy with it. Now on to looks. Looks for me, 4 out of 5, because I really do love the look of it. And to be fair, the stock shaft as well. Quite like the look of the stock shaft. And then somebody's actually put blue grip on there as well, which matches the head, which I think is amazing. So 4 out of 5. I do think it's a good looking club personally. I was a massive fan of the head cover as well. Look at that. Wouldn't say the quality is quite there compared to modern day, newer Mizunos, but I still very much like it. Very good. So looks 4 out of 5. Now, forgiveness. So this isn't supposed to be a forgiving club, so it's not your pings or anything like that. But I really don't think it's that bad. When I moved the weight to the bag, I've got 2 scores for it actually, which is a bit of a weird one. Weight to the back, I actually gave it a 3.5 because there's a few shots where I hit it on the top and everything like that, and I was definitely, because the spin rate was high, I was getting more forgiveness. Obviously, it was happening with the launch as well. So weight at the back, 3.5. Not the most forgiving club at all. Don't expect it to be that game improvement one. If you need, if you struggle to hit your fairway woods and you need that forgiveness, this isn't it. But for what it is, not that bad. 3.5 out of 5. Weight moved forward. Obviously, then it's a bit more low spinner. So then it's a 3 out of 5. I did have some drop off on speed. And there was the odd one that got below 140, so average of 143 speed miles per hour, and the odd one got under 140, so it was only 136 was the worst, and that was a horrendous hit, and I still got 136, so really not that bad. Forgiving wise, generally quite happy with it. Definitely something I would put in the bag and feel comfortable enough with. Sorry, get my words out, tongue tied. Comfortable enough with to enjoy it. So I'm saying for me, 3 at the front, 3.5 at the back, but it's no ping. So if you're looking at forgiveness, go for your TaylorMade Max models or your pings or your Callaway Max, are they Max as well? I can't remember, but go for that. Those sort of clubs, bigger footprint, etc. But really quite happy with it. Now, before I talk about the weight movement and what I thought about that, and if I thought that did affect the club, we'll just quickly finish on price, which I've given this a 4 out of 5. I'm really impressed with the price of this because I think this is a really good club. I think it's really well made. I know it's 2017, but when it comes down to fairways, there really hasn't been that much change over the past couple of years, and I'm really impressed with that. I'm really impressed with the looks. You have that in the bag. It still looks modern. It hasn't aged like some clubs do. I just think it's really nice. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to get one in good condition, but this is not bad condition. And I got this for under £100. Got it for around £70, I believe. So there you go. Not bad condition at all. And if you're looking on Golf Bidder, which is your second sort of second-hand shop over here in the UK, you're looking for under £100. Really, really good condition, maybe a little bit over. I mean, I did see one on Affordable Golf for £140, but Affordable Golf, their second-hand shop is a bit of a rip-off. I'm going to say that right now. If you're in the UK and you're looking at second-hand and you look at Affordable Golf, please have a look first at Golf Bidder and have a look for golf clubs for cash because they'll be a bit cheaper, believe me. And then when you go on eBay, I didn't see one of these going for over £100. Saying that, I don't think I saw one gear. If you turn that into dollars, I didn't see one going over $100. I had here £70, so $88, £75, $94. Highest I saw was £80, $100. So it's a great fairway wood for under £100, under $100. I really do think if you're trying to save yourself money, but you want that adjustability, it's a great option. So that's why 4 out of 5 for price. You know, really, really happy with it, to be fair. And everything in my body says I want to put this in the I want to put this in the bag, but because of that being regular, I won't, because if I really want to go for it, it gets a bit crazy and goes all over the place. Anyway, let's move on to the adjustable weight. So, did I think there's a difference? Well, I've already mentioned forgiveness. I felt forgiveness changed, which I did 100%. I'm very used to feeling different sort of weights of clubs, because obviously I'm testing quite a few clubs for you guys. So the more I've been testing for you guys, the more I'm noticing different weights in clubs. I'm noticing weights in shafts, etc. Swing. So I definitely noticed straight off the bat when I moved that weight from the back to the front, noticed it straight off. And I definitely found on average my ball speed went up and I was getting my best distance. So if you look at the times where, say, I got over 220 with the weight at the back, I only got over 220 once. Yeah. With the weight at the front, I got over 220 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So I got over 220 6 times, when in the front I only got over it once. Sorry, got over other way around. So in the front I got over it 6 times, and when it was in the back I only got over it once. So when it was in the front, in that little low spinner, sort of more weight at the front, I was getting better distance and better ball speed. Having the weight at the back didn't really help my launch, to be honest. It was still very similar. I wouldn't say there was too much difference between that, which is very much just down to me swinging. No fault of the club there, but I definitely found a big difference when I had it at the front. Some people might try and not have that difference, but for me, I definitely did. I preferred having the weight at the front. Like I said, I got the fastest ball speed 150 and got the longest distance 130 when it was at the front. So does it make a difference moving that weight around? Yes, for me, 100%. I found it did. Now, if you read other articles, they say it didn't. It's very much an opinion. It's very much to you. If you're more affected with the weight of a club in the swing, then I think you'll notice it if you change it. If you're looking for that low spinner, sort of more distance, with a little bit of forgiveness, maybe not the longest in the world, but definitely workability, because it is a very workability club. Believe me, if you want to fade it or pull it, draw it, not pull. No one wants to pull. A draw or a fade, this club is for you. So there you go. Does moving the weight to make a difference? I definitely think it does, and I enjoyed it. There's been a few clubs recently that I reviewed for you guys, and I've enjoyed hitting the older clubs, to be fair, the 2017, 2018 clubs. I've got some new stuff I've been using, I've been hitting, and, don't get me wrong, I enjoy them as well. But personally, I can't tell that much of a difference between the new and the old. I mean, I should be having a Stealth 2 coming soon. Fingers crossed. I did buy for eBay. You never know if it's going to turn up with these things. But I should have a Stealth 2 turning up soon. It'll be interesting to see what the figures are compared to that, to be honest. Brand new, modern club. How is it compared to these older sort of 2017 ones? So there you go. So there's my review of the JPX 900 fairway wood from Mizuno. I just think it's a great club, to be honest. I think you have a chance to play with it. Do get your hands on it. So remember, if you enjoyed this video, do give it a like. Remember to subscribe to the channel as well, guys. It means the world to me, and obviously means you won't miss out on great reviews like this, which shows you don't have to go and spend £380 on a new club. You can go and save yourself that £300 and buy this for 80 and have, go on holiday. Well, I don't know if you can go on holiday with £300, but I'm sure you can have a few places, but put that £300 for another club in the bag, revamp it a little bit more. So there you go. So don't forget to subscribe, because you'll have some more wonderful things like this coming up, and obviously new clubs as well, which great clubs as well. So yeah, so don't forget to subscribe and leave down in the comments down below, have you tried the JPX 900? What did you think of it, compared to other fairway woods you've used over the years? So do leave me a comment down below, because I'll be really interested in that. Okay guys, well, as I said before, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you next week for the next ACS golf review. See you then. Bye bye.